It is the technology show where we translate geek into regular speak. Hello, Alex. It's so good to have you back.
Great to see you.
I'm actually going to bring in the presentation so that everyone that doesn't know you can actually see who you are, because you're the guest co-host this week, not the guest. So we've definitely had you on the show before. In fact, when it comes to some of the very challenging and thought-provoking questions, it's Alex that's normally shooting them through on the chat, especially when he's correcting me on my error and snobbish ways on the new iDevices. Speaking of iDevices, we need to rename this show, not the technology show for the week. It is the iOS 15 show. That's what we're calling the show this week.
The Apple show. Because I also have a CarPlay device I want to show you too. So heaps of Apple stuff. It's all good.
Nice. That one looks really exciting. So
Yeah,
Things with a Z is being renamed the iOS 15 show for today. And apparently there's a CarPlay as well. Now, I don't actually need the slides for what we're going to talk about. I'm actually going to turn this off because you've got your phone all tiered up. Let's see if I can pull this out and put your phone back in when it's ready. That's where it should be.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to everyone about the.
Is that meant to be blurred like that, or
no? That's what we're all seeing. Have you switched cameras?
Oh yes, sorry. No, I know what's going on. It's showing the roof, so I've got to tap on the camera and tap back camera. Ta-da!
Right, and I'm going to do that, and it brings it up next to you, so we all move into frame. Yep. So iOS 15 for Australia officially launched this morning. I think it was yesterday for America, which is.
No, it was yesterday for Australia. It was
Monday for. That's right. Sorry, today's Wednesday. I thought today was Tuesday for a second. So now, before we go into the cool features, I think first of all, there's a couple of things. One, you've got quite a few different iOS devices, which means you have let's say the privilege of being able to play with it when it's still in beta. And I know you've been playing in beta for a while now. And when we've chatted, you said it was pretty stable and you were happy with everything that you've seen so far. But basically, I'm always of the view, and I advise on the show, that people should wait till the 0.1. So when you've got 15.0, wait for 15.1. Because, although the chances of anything going majorly wrong are slim, Apple's pretty good when it comes to that. But there's still that chance. And if you don't have any other devices and that's your primary device, I've always suggested to wait. So I've taken my own advice.
Interestingly, this year, for the first time, Apple gives you a choice. So when you go into the settings and you go into general and you go into software update. Now, mine's going to say it is.
You've already done it, right?
But unfortunately, I shouldn't have used the camera the iPhone that I'm using to record this through my Mac using a excellent program called Re-Incubate Camo. That one is still on iOS 14. And what you notice is that when you look down here, this section down here, right down there, it says iOS 15 update available. And if you tap on it, then you'll get the screen that shows you all of the iOS 15 information. So you can stay. Well, there you go. But just tap the back button for one sec. At the top left, there, tap General.
Yep.
And if you look at the bottom of the screen, So go back into software update.
Yeah.
And if you haven't updated yet, you'll notice at the bottom, it says at the bottom, upgrade to iOS 15. So
you're saying normally that's not there. It's either the update primary and that's it.
Normally that's not there. So they know, at least after 15 generations, that not everybody is racing to update straight away. Some people, some apps won't run on iOS 15 properly yet. They're not finished for whatever reason. I mean, there are tons of features in iOS 15 that are not ready yet, which we'll go through in a sec. But there's lots that are. And some people just don't want to go to iOS 15 yet. They want to wait for 15.1, like you suggest. Some people want to wait for 15.2. Some people just want to wait for 15.01 to fix whatever bug didn't go through. So for the first time, we have the choice, and that's really good because some people may have tapped it by accident. But now you can choose to stay on 14.8, 0.11 or 2 or whatever they come up with.
Yeah.
If there are more things to be fixed, which there probably is.
I think it was you'll probably know the version better than I will, but there was a big shift in iOS. I'm thinking it was like between 9 and 10.
Well, from 6 was the old skeuomorphic design where they had icons that looked like the notes, a bit of rip paper. And 7
was a
changed.
nightmare. When I was like first off the mark, as soon as the update was available, I hit the button. And let me tell you, my phone was terrible until they quickly read all the hate mail and then released 0.1, and we were okay, you know. So, and I think it's from there that I got like a bit shy. What I do normally do is I upgrade my iPad. I don't really care if I kill my iPad. It's not a primary device for me. It's an entertainment device and a note-taking device. So, and on that note, I got a little message from someone about some new toys that are coming down to me to review soon. That person knows who they are. I will be reviewing some shiny toys for my iPad soon. But I actually haven't done it this time, Alex. I've just, you know, we had that patch scare a couple of weeks ago.
You stabbed big time.
Well, the thing is, you know, we had that patch update to 14.8 a couple of weeks ago. We were talking to all of our listeners. You were on IT Wire. For those that don't know by now, Alex is the tech editor of IT Wire. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It's daily, twice a day email, I think I get. And I just got scared. You know, I just got, after that fact that they admitted that there was a security patch, blocked the patch, updated all my devices. I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to hang fire and have a show with Alex to find out what I'm missing out on and then make my decision.
Well, you know, iOS 14, there was something like 15 zero-day vulnerabilities throughout the life cycle of iOS 14. So if you were scared by the time iOS 14.8 came out, you were scared about 15 zero-day vulnerabilities. Too late. You should have been scared a lot longer. And look, iOS 15
too late now.
Too late now. But iOS 15 would have, you know, had the various patches. Presumably, there were updates every 2 weeks, which is normally what happens during the beta process. And, you know, even a week ago, I was emailing you, telling you, hey, the iOS 15 seems to be launched. In fact, it was the release candidate. And when I checked yesterday, I took my phone off the beta program. I noticed yesterday there was one more update to iOS 15, which was a last-minute bug patch. So whether that was the bug patch for 14.8 or some other bug patch, I don't know. But
look, it must have been critical. You can't shift from 14 to 15 with any forms of flaws or holes in that. So they needed to obviously make sure. You remember they did that with when it went from Sierra to High Sierra. There was a certain patch you had to download before you could jump to High Sierra on normal Mac. I'm talking about. It was a small update that came out that when you were going to go to High Sierra, it said recommended. That was the wording, that you do that first. It wasn't big. It was like 40 megs or 50 megs, which is small when it comes to Mac OS. And that was also, I think, their way of just saying, you know, let's just make sure everything's clean and clear before you do the big shift. But enough of waffling about security patches and all that. We've got your camera rigged up. So give us the show. Tell us what we can expect.
Sure. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of the things, when you look at it, it looks very similar to iOS 14. But there are various things. So one of the things, if I go into, you know, my Safari. So that's Safari there. And you'll notice that
I like the fact my name comes up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've put you there, right? I put your page there. So you'll notice that at the bottom, you can see the address bar is right down there. And if I tap on this, I can actually move the address bar back to the top. Some people prefer the address bar up top there, where it has been for a long time. Now, I like the fact I've moved it. So down here, you can say show bottom bar. So it's down there. And the reason for having that is because you can now move through open tabs just like that. Just like that, very, very easily, quickly and easily. You can just.
So before you did that, I didn't like that, but now that you're doing that, I do like that.
Yes.
That
well, see,
makes a lot of
sense. On this, and you had to go into your tabs. Now, you might remember in iOS 14, you had a carousel, a vertical carousel, and you couldn't actually see the entire tab. But now you can see the tabs there, and you can scroll up and down. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, closing a tab is just the same. Now, one of the things that people have forgotten or didn't even know. I mean, I showed this to someone the other day, an executive of a big company, and they were like, "I didn't even know Safari had tabs." And it's like, they've had them since.
I've had them a while.
So if you tap on this button on iOS 14 or 15, you can see you can close all the tabs at once. Now that came out in iOS 14, but for some people they don't even know it's there. So you can close.
I'll be honest, I didn't do it, but I don't like to close my tabs either. I like to keep them open generally.
Sometimes I have. Sometimes I have 100 or 150 or something like that, and after a while, I don't care. I just want to close them all, and start again. Because don't worry, I'll easily rack up a bunch more tabs. No problems at all. Now, also you can see on this side here, you've got this little menu here, which was there before, and you can turn off content blockers and hide the toolbar and website settings. I mean, all of that. So all of that was already in iOS 14. But if I was to close this tab, the one with you, if I close that one, now down here you see a little plus. Now this also works on iOS 14, but I've moved it to this side here.
Yeah, so it was on the other side. That's right.
If I tap and hold of that plus, you can see that I can bring back that tab again. Now again, that was in 14, but they've moved it across. So that's just a little tiny change in iOS 15 Safari. I mean, there are other things you can customize the start page. You can do that sort of thing. But one of the things, if I'm in a FaceTime audio call, so let me just do a FaceTime audio call to you, and you can, we can put it on mute so it doesn't start reverberating. But I'll just ask it. Hang on 1 second. Oh, my CarPlay device is on, so let me just turn my CarPlay device off because it's connected to CarPlay. You see. 1 second.
Because that's what you do when you're in lockdown and sitting at home, right? You bring your CarPlay in house.
That's it. Yeah. Call Brett Levy, FaceTime audio. So I must have it on mute or quiet. So it's calling you, right? So just answer that call if you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just put you on mute, otherwise we're going to have reverb.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
right.
I've answered it.
Okay. So I've put the microphone off as well. Now, if I actually go into that, or if I just tap done here, if I swipe down from the top, you can see up the top over here, it's got mic mode, right? Voice isolation up top here, mic mode. So if we're in a call, so it's wanting to. Oh, did we hang up?
Oh, no, I'm still on the call.
Okay. 1 sec. Well, we saw that thing there. It seems to have gone now for a second. Maybe because we're on mute. Let me just try unmuting myself. And testing. Well, listen, this is one thing you can hear for a start. This is one thing I want to show you. Listen to this. Can you hear that little let me just see.
No.
There's a little when you tap the mute button, there's a little blink blink. Hang on, I'll try it again now. I'll put it on speaker.
To tell you that you're on mute.
Yeah, here.
There we go. Oh, that's quite clever. So you actually know you're on mute. Yep.
You can hear that little sound because sometimes you can put yourself on mute by accident, which is no good. Now you'll hear that
Especially
little.
when you tap your face.
Yeah, it's very cool to have that little tiny little thing. It makes a big difference. Now, I'll just see if I can bring that. So that voice isolation mode is back. So I can tap on this, and you've got standard over here, standard, and you've got voice isolation, and you've got wide spectrum. So if I have the noise, so a friend of mine was testing this with me this morning. He was in the park, and there was a lawnmower, one of those ride-on lawnmowers, and it was noisy. I mean, you could hear the, really quite noisy. And he was walking up to it, and then he was tapping the voice isolation, and bang, silent. So you could not hear anything but his voice. And if you watch the WWDC,
I remember that. I was going to say.
Yeah, and they had a oops, someone's trying to call me. And they had yeah.
Remember, I can see your screen, so make sure nothing bad pops up.
I just put it on disturb. So do not disturb is on. So that's another thing actually. Look at the do not disturb now. So when you tap, it's called focus. When you tap on that, you can see that you've got sleep, personal, and work. So you can have different screens that are appearing, different apps that are appearing on your homepage for when you're in work mode, when you're in home mode. If you're trying to get some of that work-life balance, especially when your home is your work 24/7, having the different disturb modes is something new that was only in iOS 15, right? They didn't have it before. Yeah. So anyway, this voice isolation mode that's up top here, it really works, and it doesn't work on normal phone calls. You have to be on a FaceTime or a VoIP call.
That was what I was going to ask you. That's a pity because, when we were allowed to run around, I was always running around, and I've always chosen my headsets based on the quality of their mics for wind noise. And when I review, I always talk about the wind noise. So that's interesting. So it's an Apple thing for FaceTime. Well, did you say it'll work on data, like a WhatsApp call?
It can work on other calls. I think the other providers just simply have to enable it. I think it's just an API that they have to switch on. So it is available to all the other VoIP apps. You can use it in Zoom and in other places, and it just makes you want to use a FaceTime audio call. And of course, FaceTime audio calls can now be shared with Windows and Android users. You do have to send them a link, which they will receive in a browser, a bit like the way you sent me the streamable link in a browser. But you are then talking to them on FaceTime. So I'm assuming, I haven't tested it yet with somebody on Android or Windows.
That's interesting.
But I'm assuming, yeah. Well, see, FaceTime is also now more like Zoom. I mean, I would really recommend that people watch the WWDC 2021, June or July of this year. If you go to youtube.com/Apple, it's over 1 hour, but it's an awesome explanation of all the features that are in a whole stack of the features.
We wouldn't have the show if people go and watch that. Then we don't have a reason for you and I to chat about it.
Most people, I mean, the thing is though, you're going to get a much better presentation from Apple than you're going to get from me in a much better and a much shorter way. I mean, one of the other cool things that didn't launch. I'm just looking for my.
Stay on this call, or must we hang up this call?
So we can hang up now. Yeah, we can hang up. So
okay.
Yeah, let's hang up.
So the voice, because I remember them demoing that in the WWDC, so it actually does work. I mean, you've experienced it firsthand, which is fantastic.
And if you've got AirPods on, it works through the AirPods. I mean, it works, and it's doing it live and in real time. And next time you're talking to somebody on an iPhone, I mean, get them to get a hairdryer, or get them to turn the tap on, or flush the toilet, do something, right? That's making a lot of noise. Halfway through doing that action and the noise happening, tap on the voice isolation mode, and it's instantly like all that other sound has been turned off. So it's really, really cool.
I'll definitely give that a whirl. Now, you mentioned focus and the do not disturb. That was one of the things that I was quite excited about with iOS 15, is that, as you've said, especially now with work from home, our lives are 24/7 work, or always on, or always available, as far as anyone's concerned. I actually received an email the other day that in the signature of the email, it said, "I work at weird hours. I don't expect you to respond accordingly. Normal business hours are acceptable." And I thought, that's a bit weird to put that email. But then I realized, one, as a global world, we do business with people all over the world, and especially in Australia, being so far ahead of most people time-wise. But number two, people and myself and yourself. I mean, I get emails from you at midnight. People are sitting working and responding to emails, and then you don't get a response back. There's that expectation. So focus, which is part of iOS 15 now, do you actually then set up different profiles? So when you hit sleep, it turns off aerials, it turns off connectivity, or it only allows certain things? How does it work?
Well, I mean, it works the way you described it. You can go into the setup. I mean, I actually haven't really gone into all of the ways you can set it up yet, because I just haven't needed to. Most of the time, I just want do not disturb. But it says here, filter notifications, signal to friends when you're not available, and hide distractions without missing what's important. So if I go into sleep, there's 3 little dots here, and I can tap on that. And when I tap on that, I've got settings. And so when I tap on settings, you can see it's very detailed. So sleep on or off. You can allow certain people to call you. You can allow certain apps to interrupt your sleep. You've got various options for the focus status and home screen, lock screen. You can have it automatically turn on at a certain point. You can time it. I mean, if I go back into the so this is under focus, under settings. So it used to say do not disturb, but now it says focus. So tap on that. And then so there's work, for example. There's personal and there's work. You can see I haven't set them up. So if I tap on personal, then again, show that you're away. You tap on that. You can allow certain people for notifications. I can just say allow none.
So that's quite good. So your child or your spouse needs to get hold of you. You've turned your phone off for meeting purposes, but obviously if they need to get hold of you, they need to get hold of you. So that's actually quite a good feature as well.
It's very granular, because before it was just do not disturb, on or off. And there were a couple of things that you could set, which I'll show you in a second. But it was very much a black and white with only a couple of shades of gray. Now you've got all 50, if not more. And so you can allow certain apps, and you can say allow none. Your focus is ready. You can have it so that if you set it on your phone, it also applies to your iPad, your Apple Watch, and your Mac. Or you can say no, I only want it to be on this particular device. And also you can see it, choose your home screen. So you can choose which apps appear in a work context, so that you're not, for example, interrupted by Facebook, but you are interrupted by LinkedIn, for example, because LinkedIn is supposed to be a business-oriented social network. So you really do have a great amount of control, which wasn't possible before. I mean, before, if you went into and I don't even know if it's here. We'll have a look in the do not disturb. So if you went into the do not disturb, on iOS 14, you could have it so that someone could call you. If they called you within 2 rings, if within 3 minutes, if they rang twice, they could get through, right? But I turn that off because when I put it on Do Not Disturb, I do not want to be disturbed. You know, I'm doing a TV, I'm doing an interview or something, and you know, obviously I didn't switch it on then when that other call came through because you can't think of everything, you know. But the ability to really get some control back, because you know these devices have taken over our lives. That's why Apple put in screen time, you know. But all that screen time really ends up being is, oh look, I increased the amount of screen time from last week. You know,
I was going to say, when I see my screen time report, it's terrible. I just got the thumbs up from my wife. She's like, when she heard screen time, she's like, yep. And I know we both thinking already with our kid, but it's.
Or see, for your partner or for your children or for yourself with your child, it might be screen time. Because
screen time, I think, is definitely more. Actually, I have to quickly step away from iOS for a second there. Optus, which is, I've got my home internet and my mobile internet. They have a feature called pause inside their app.
Yes.
And you can choose which devices to turn off and for how long.
That's right.
And I tried it the other day. I'm surprised that I came back and found all my personal belongings still intact, because I said to my son, you're either coming out and getting some fresh air and a walk with us, or we're turning your internet off. Now, I always threaten it, but I never do it. But this time I did it using the app. And I think there were new swear words that I've never heard before that were invented at that moment in time. But
they were a combination of English and Afrikaans or something.
Probably. So what else have you got for us? Oh, before we talk about some of the next features, I think what's also quite nice, and now here maybe as we will agree to disagree, and you definitely did try and correct me my errors last week. The nice thing about iOS 15 is it brings all of this technology to all the way back to, like, I think the iPhone 8. It goes, or 11.
iPhone 6S. You won't get things like live
6S. Okay, so that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, because I've chosen not to upgrade to the 13. I don't feel that the hardware is going to do anything more than my current 12 Pro does. But like you said last week, for someone that's coming off a 6, 7, 8, even a 10, you know, the jump from a 10 to a 13 will be massive.
Look,
but
the 10
software is available. It's there.
People forget the 10 came out in 2017. That's 5 years ago. You know, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. You know, so that's a long time. That's a long time.
Yep.
And it's really a case of, you know, if you want the latest and greatest every year, which plenty of people do, you know, you can do that. I mean, I just discovered a life hack. I just ordered an iPhone 13 Pro Max from Telstra. I like to have my own. I mean, Apple are very generous to, you know, lend me one to review, and I've got no idea when that's, you know, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But you know, the iPhone I'm going to get from Telstra is going to take a while too. But I was getting one on the 2-year plan. But after 12 months, I would give it back and upgrade. I mean, you could pay
you do that for $100 or something, right?
And you trade it for $100, yeah. And I realized that you know, if I'm doing that, what am I paying the 2-year price for? So I decided I'm going to pay the 3-year price for 1 year, which saves me about $30. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
And
pay 100 each.
Well, instead of paying $100 a month for the phone, I'm paying $75. Or thereabouts.
And you're saving that money which you pay in the pay-in at the end of the year to upgrade to the next one.
Well, I pay $15 a month for the upgrade and protect. So if I break my phone, break the screen, they can replace it twice in a 12-month calendar period, because you're paying that insurance. And if you have the phone for 12 months out of the 24 months, and you're definitely into that, you pass the 12 months, you don't have to pay a $99 fee. But if you do it before the 12 months of the first year is up, and you pay $99, and you give back the old phone and you get a new one, you're basically on a perpetual lease. But I was paying the lease per month price for the 24 months. So I decided I'm just going to tell them I want to lease it for 3 years, or not leasing. I'm paying it off over 3 years. And I mean, really, I should just figure out how to earn more money and then just pay it off over 12 months.
Look, I think it's different. You know, there's benefits to both. I've got the hand-me-down model at home. You know, I'll give my phone to my wife or my son within the year or the 18 months. So for me, it doesn't make sense to do that. But if you don't have to hand down the phone to anyone, that's a brilliant idea. You know, and when I first arrived in Australia, I remember seeing that you could get and that was the iPhone, I think 8 or 10 or something like that. And you could pay $100 off to you. And I was like, and that's, I did. And then I realized, but now I don't have a device at the end of the 2 years to actually hand down, because an iPhone has a 4 to 5 year life at least. And before it becomes, you know, at the point where you need to change it. I'm just conscious of time. What are the great features have you found?
Well, this feature here, that's a photograph, right? That's not the iOS 15 screen. That's a screenshot. So any photograph, whether it's one you've taken 10 years ago or 100 years ago, if it's got text or numbers in it, you can now double tap on that, and I can select that text. Now that is off a photograph. That is a photo. And so I can then copy the text, and now I can go into notes and paste it into notes. So that's very handy. And again, this is the WWDC.
So that's using OCR.
That's using
instant business card. You can do the same thing, right? So I can take a photo of the business card. And can you call from the business card, or do you have to copy and paste it?
You can. If there's a number there, you should be able to call that number. I mean, this is not obviously a number, but I'm pretty sure that in the WWDC video they showed.
I was about to look for something to take a photo, but I just realized I'm not on iOS 15 yet. So you see, when I see things like this now, I want to upgrade. I'm going to have to sit on my hands to not push that button. But that's brilliant, because I can think of a real world case scenario, not a business card. When you're on holiday or you're walking around and you see an estate agent board that, you see a house that you like and there's an estate agent board, you can take a photograph of it. And even if you don't act on it, like a week or 2 weeks later, and you're scrolling through your photos, there it is. Just copy the number and paste instead of having to find a pen to write it down, unless you can remember 10 digits.
Well, obviously you've got the photograph. You could always look at the photograph, but it's so much nicer to just tap the number, move your finger across the number, copy it. And, I don't use the Facebook app. I use the website. Facebook.com, because I don't trust the app. I hear all those things about people saying, I was talking about something and suddenly I see ads. So it's like Facebook does not live on my phone.
Well, look, iPhone has smashed that. I mean, that's been the big bugbear with Mark Zuckerberg and the boys, is that they have actually killed that.
The key thing is that if I try and copy a photograph off Facebook, like a pun that I want to put into a group called Pun Fun that I belong to, or I want to copy some text, Facebook website doesn't let me do it. So I take a screenshot of the photographs, but now I can take a screenshot of whatever comment, and I just use the live, it's called live text. I just use the live text to show that. Now, look, there's so many other things. You can have unique text sizes per app. There's a thing called background sound. So if I go into here and I type in background sounds, your phone is now a white noise generator with oceans and rivers, and so you can tap background sounds on. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the ocean. You can have that in your AirPods.
I just thought for a second you ducked into the toilet.
That's the sound of rain for the ocean.
No, I mean, you can get apps. You can get apps for that already, though. That doesn't need to be
but it's now built into It's now built into the system, which is really cool. The unique text sizes per app is handy. You might want to increase
that. When you're reading and you want the bigger. I mean, I wear glasses for short. My far sight is still very good and very strong. But anything on my phone, if I'm watching movies or YouTube or anything on my phone or my iPad, I generally don't put my glasses on. I don't need to. But text I can't read. So it would be awesome to be able to go into books, web, whatever is something that's text heavy or text by email, and make the font bigger so that I don't actually have to read it, but also don't have all my font bigger when it comes to like messages and things like that where I don't need it.
Yeah.
So, so it's actually there as the same as the
text size. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that on the control panel, there's a lot of other apps you can switch on.
You're the only person that has that many apps.
Well, that's all of them. I've got all of them. I mean, you just turn them all on. You never know when you're going to need it. And if you tap on the AA, you can change the text size, and you can see it says home screen only, or it says all apps. So the home screen only.
I only have 8.
Yeah, but if you go into the settings and you
I turned mine off though.
Yeah. Well, you should turn them on because you never know when you're going to need it. So you can set certain things to be bigger and other things to be smaller. I mean, it's not just on a per website basis like in Safari.
Actually, app level.
It's at the app level, yeah. And Siri is now offline. So if I've got my Siri and I've turned my phone onto plane mode, right? I can say, and I'm just going to push the button because I've got multiple devices here. What time is it in Paris?
I'm listening. In Paris, France, it's 6:31 a.m.
So that's offline. Watch this, right? Turn on airplane mode.
How did it work it out offline though?
Turned on.
Turn off airplane mode.
Okay, aeroplane mode is now off.
So you can now process all those things on device. You don't need a fancy iPhone 13 to do it. It should work on quite older iPhones. So it's doing it on.
There's a bit of a disclaimer for the listeners. Even though we would be able to put iOS 15 on a 6, 7, there will still be certain things that it needs. Yeah,
you won't get live text, but I'll tell you, the vast majority of things will actually work, which is pretty cool. I mean, yes, certain things are hardware dependent, but look, I haven't tried. I just upgraded my mother from an iPhone SE, which is a 6S, into an iPhone 8. So I'm going to be. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm going to wipe her SE and I'm going to put iOS 15 on there to see. But Siri now works offline. So in the past, you wanted to dial, you wanted to know something, know the time, and it would say, "Oh, sorry, I'm not online." And it's like, I hate that. But so that's never going to be a problem again. So it's very cool. Look, there are lots of things. I mean, there's a thing called Share Play, where if I'm watching a movie on Disney Plus and you got Disney Plus, we can watch it together. But that's not available yet. There's a thing called Digital Legacy. So if you die, you can have somebody else in your family or some sort of digital executor to give access to your photographs and other information. That's not available yet. The keys and ID and wallet is still coming.
When you say it's not available yet, is that
coming later this year?
For an update? So
it'll come in a 15.2 or 3 or 5. The spatial audio, for example, didn't come till 14.5 or 6. The ECG didn't come till Watch OS 7.4 or 5. We're now up to 7.6.2, and of course we're now up to Watch OS 8. I mean, there's a whole thing there as well. There's an app privacy report. I mean, I'm just looking from Mac Rumors here. They've got Siri-enabled accessories. So if you've got a thermostat on the wall, you can talk to it, and you can have Siri inside of it. A microphone you can understand. So apparently that's not available yet. Universal control, where you have your iPad on one side and your Mac on the other side, and you can move the mouse from your Mac.
I saw that on WWDC.
Without it being sidecar, like directly onto the iPad side of things. That's not available yet, although we're still waiting for Mac OS 12 Monterey. The ability for the AirPod Pro to have conversation boost, that's a feature that I've emailed Apple about and said, where is that? That hasn't come yet. And with the iPad, when you're using the iPad, I was saying before, you missed out on the iPad OS 15. You got to get it because the multitasking is much more obvious now. It's much easier to set up dual screens.
I'm glad I've actually got you on this call for that, and I'm sorry to cut you off like that. I battle with multi-screen on my iPad. Like, when you open up, let's say you've got Netflix playing, and then an email pops up as a notification. So I open it to get rid of that damn column. It's fantastic that it splits the screen, but to actually get rid of it, 9 times out of 10, I have to actually swipe up, close the apps, and go back. It's terrible. So you're saying that's better, that they've actually made multi better?
You can see here on this iPad that there's this little 3 dots up top there. So if I tap on those 3 dots, I've got a little. Let me just pull this out.
There we go. Yeah.
The full screen. I can halve it on this side. I halve it on that side. If I halve it on this side over here, it puts it on that side there, and it says, okay, well, what app do you want? So let's say I want music. Bang! I've got half. In fact, this is even actually put it as a one of those iPad style things there. But I can put it to the side, and I can decide that I want it to be.
You're freezing up a bit, Alex.
I can say that I want that there, and now it's so. Let's say I want voice memos. So now it's half and half. You see, half and half. Just by so I can get rid of that. But just by tapping on that little 3 dots up top there, I get that. So it's very easy to see how to multi.
It's frozen. If you look at the screen, it's frozen.
I don't know why, but anyway, it's much easier now, and it's even with iOS 15, the ability to swipe up with your pencil from the bottom left-hand corner or the bottom right-hand corner rather, to have a note that you can then scribble on any app. I mean, even in Siri,
cool.
you say, hey Siri, share this page, and Siri will share. There's so many improvements, and these do not require a new device if you don't want to get a new device. It all works. So you're getting a whole. There was an earthquake in Melbourne. People were filling parts of the city and Tasmania, and I've been telling everybody, look, it's iOS 15. It's the new operating system. That's what caused the earthquake. So,
no, it would have to be Android. It can't be iOS. So it does sound like some exciting things. Here's one other question before you get to that toy, because I'm very interested in that toy. Here's the other question that I have. You know, when you create folders on your iPhone, so I'll actually show you, seeing I've got the Guru live, right? So I've created a banking folder. So there's my folder. I've called it banking. There's all my banking apps. You can see there's a gap. There's a missing gap. But if I scroll, I have got lots of other apps. The gap is there because I deleted an app that I don't use anymore in the banking world. I cannot move my apps around within the folder. It just goes back. So I make them wobble. I drag it across to that gap, let it go. It's gone back again. Why?
Look, I don't use folders very much because I just use the search. I swipe down and I type in whatever I'm looking for. But maybe that's something I fixed in iOS 15. I mean, you should definitely find out.
Well, maybe that's one of the things I'm hoping for, because they won't admit it. I see that I got a like from Gary. Hey, he's in South Africa. He's up early. He's watching the show. Hey, Gary, thanks for the like. Appreciate it. So yeah, I can see the thumbs popped up on my screen. So but it's these little things, though, Alex, that always make me weary when it comes to the software upgrade. And I said, I love upgrading my software. I love the new features. But that I've had for the whole of 14. It wasn't there on 13. And when I do upgrade to 15 and it doesn't work, then the magnitude 6 down in Melbourne side is going to be very small compared to the bang when my phone goes out the window.
I mean, the thing is, if your biggest problem is there's one icon gap that you can't fill.
I want to move them around. So what happens is, and you know this, being a tech reviewer yourself, you get a new toy that you play with. It comes with an app. You download the app. I put it into a folder, and then I'm using that because it's current.
Yeah.
Then I don't want to use it anymore. So I just want to move it out of the way. I don't want to get rid of it because I'm still going to use the toy, but I can't move it. It won't move. It's painful.
Let me create a folder here. So I'm going to move.
Make me feel bad.
Well,
so
I'm going to move this into there like that, and then I'm going to tap that. And one of the things that people don't know you can do is I can move this one here, and if I tap this second one, I can then tap multiple icons at the same time, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been there since iOS 13, I think. And so you can
tap one, and then you can tap all the other 8 on that page, and you can move them all out onto, and you can even make up a blank page.
I can make a new folder and move them all into that rather.
Well, in theory, you could. But what I'm saying is that you could see if you when they're all wobbling like that, if you tap on this button down here, you can actually turn off. You can see how many app screens I have, and only 3 or 4 of them have a tick. So I can move that folder into a screen that has almost no apps in it, and I can drag all those apps into like a blank screen, right? Yep. And then I can move them all back. I could move them back one at a time back into a folder. I mean, it's a bit fiddly, but if you do it and it's done, you don't have to worry about it. It's done. So look, it's just one of those things. I've got no idea whether they fixed it in iOS 15, but the ability to tap one icon and then tap with another finger, even with your other hand, to grab all those icons together under the one finger so you can move them all at the same time, that might save you the trouble of moving them all one by one because you think, oh, Apple hasn't fixed that when they have. And again, maybe in iOS 15, it'll all be fixed. Maybe you could drag all those 8 icons out and then leave the other ones there and then drag those 8 icons back and then somehow move them back to the front page.
I just want to go, hey, Siri, clean up my mess. Now, I'm worried about time, and we still got a little bit of fun to play, but you need to show me that toy that you were teasing about.
Well, before I do, this thing here, $65, right? This people say, the iPhone doesn't have a USB port. It's like rubbish. It's had a USB port ever since day one.
A lightning port with an adapter.
You could buy this. Buy this, but it was the 9-pin dock. So you can buy this without the extra lightning port over there. But the lightning port allows you to power up this, so it becomes a powered port. So it's enough if devices need power. Now, if it needs too much power, you'll get a message telling you it needs power. And there are MFI, supposed MFI versions on sale from Amazon for like 20 or 30 bucks. This was 65. And as soon as I plugged it into my iPhone, I said, oh, there's an update. Because there's a little chip, there's a little computer in here, basically. And it got updated. And so with this, I can actually plug in a mouse. So I've got a little dongle. I mean, you can connect, well, this is not Bluetooth. This is the Logitech adapter.
Okay.
But you can connect a Bluetooth mouse, not the trackpad. The trackpad only works on the iPad, but you can connect a Bluetooth mouse and a Bluetooth keyboard to your iPhone without this and to your iPad. But if you want to use, you've got a special one that isn't Bluetooth, you can plug it into that. And you can also plug in headset. You can plug anything into this, right? Just about.
Yeah.
And so that is your adapter for an iPhone.
You know that you're giving cannon fodder to every single Samsung owner out there at the moment that's going, yeah, but we've got a USB-C port built in, so we don't need the...
Yeah, but well, that's true. But I mean, you show me the mouse or the headset or any device that has the
RF transponder.
USB-C adapter. You need to buy. I was going to say that for the iPad, you can buy for your Mac. You buy a little dongle. It's got USB-C on one end, and it's got all the other USB-A and HDMI and all those things. And I've got one of those too. And this is the one that came with the Samsung that I used to connect to those devices. So you still need that sort of thing, and if you want to plug multiple things into your Samsung device or Google, well, you're still going to need one of those or an adapter. So if you've got to buy an adapter, guess what? You have to buy an adapter. And if you want to use Bluetooth things with your iPhone, you can. So I use this to be able to scroll up and down notes. I have my iPhone that I'm looking at there, and I have this iPhone with my notes, and I use it like a teleprompter. And so my eyes are just looking to the left. And I did that at last year's ASCA conference as well. Anyway, it's all very good. But this is CarPlay. So this is a portable CarPlay device. This is the 3rd generation. They're about to launch this one, the newest version, on Amazon. You can go there already. It's called Coral Vision. But this is the 2022 version, I guess. And you can see that it is CarPlay.
Is it made by Coral Vision? Is that what it's called?
Made by a company called Coral like coral from the Great Barrier Reef, and Vision like your vision. Now it also works with Android Auto, and CarPlay.
That's interesting. So for all the cars that don't have a built-in, like I don't, my wife's car doesn't have a CarPlay device.
That's it. So I don't have CarPlay in my car either. Now I've driven cars with CarPlay. I've seen other people's CarPlay. It's exactly the same. It's CarPlay. So whether you've got iOS 14 or iOS 15.
Does your phone have to be plugged in? Or is it
No.
That's the kicker.
Wireless. So it does have the ability to plug in by USB-C. It does have the ability to plug in a reverse wireless camera. You can pay extra for that. It does have the ability to have an audio out. And this is the power. Now, I've got this plugged in to a cigarette lighter adapter that plugs into the wall. This has no battery in it. Okay, so when you turn the car off, this turns off. That's how CarPlay works in cars anyway. Yeah. So I've got audio books. I've got audio books. I've got podcasts. I mean, it is super, super cool. I've got all the different the music. I mean, it works like the CarPlay in any other car because it is CarPlay. It is awesome.
Well,
awesome.
I'm gonna have to wrap up our iOS and CarPlay, and now you've really made me jealous of
$350 US to buy, and I'm loving it. And I've upgraded my car without having to upgrade my car.
Upgrade your car. So I need to go back to my slides and finish off the show with a little bit of a challenge. So let me bring my screen back into sharing. And
look, just whilst you're doing that, please go on. If you want to learn more, I mean, there's heaps of articles now already. There's tons of articles online that tell you about all the things that are in iOS 15. But watch Apple's keynote from WWDC and watch their keynote from the iPhone and the iPads from last week. They're not very long. They're about an hour or so, hour and 20 minutes for the most recent one. I think the other one might have been longer, but they're awesome produced television shows that will blow you away. Okay, ask away.
So I just wanted to put this up here because our show is proudly sponsored by TCL. And I don't know if you were on the press call yesterday, but this launched officially today. It's the 5th phone from TCL this year, which is quite a lot of phones given that it's a newish brand. But what's really exciting about this one, and I will be doing a proper review, but I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this is now available. This is the new TCL 20R 5G. Now 5G, obviously it has 5G, but
Well, it's about it. It's $299 from Vodafone, $349 from Officeworks and Harvey Norman and Hogan from Mobile City. It's got a fingerprint reader on the back, 6.52-inch display on the front. It's got a 90 hertz screen, so when you scroll through, it's very smooth. I mean, the latest iPhone's got 100.
That's the gaming component.
Well, that's the gaming mode. The gaming mode is 180 hertz touch, so when you touch the screen, it's very smooth on touching it. It's got 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig storage. You can take a 1 terabyte micro SD card, so you can store all your photographs. I mean, the thing that takes the most space on your phone is the photos and the videos. And if you put any movies and TV shows on there as well, it takes up a lot of space. So
I'm going to be doing a proper review on it. But the most important thing I wanted to mention again, because they respond to the show, is that it's under $350 for a 5G phone with those specs.
Are you still there? Are we disconnected?
No, we're still there.
Yeah, you're back now. So it's $349, but Vodafone is selling it for $299, and that's on a contract.
Launch, correct?
Yeah, so it's Australia's, even at $349, it's the cheapest 5G phone, but it's got mid-range specs. It's surprisingly powerful for an incredibly low amount of money. So if you need another phone, this is a good one to look at.
You always need another phone, Alex. We can never have enough phones. As I said, I'm waiting for the actual physical review unit to come through, and I'll give it a proper whirl. Yeah. I'm not sitting at my desk, so I can't show off like you are now. But Teresa came up with a new finishing off segment for the show called Does Brett Really Know? And she's now stumped me twice. We've played it twice. I really love the format. And I thought, you know what? Given the fact that this whole show has been about Apple, or specifically iOS, and we are sponsored by an Android device, and we have you as a guest co-host who, in my opinion, is probably a bigger Apple fanboy than I am, and I'm pretty big. I thought we'll change the rules of today to the game called Does Alex Really Know? And I'm going to make this all about Android. So I have got, I think it's only 8 questions, but the whole idea also was that it could be fun and conversational.
Yeah, so absolutely.
The first question I have for you is, what was the first version of Android OS called?
Ooh.
I had to think hard about this. So I did actually know this one, but let's see if you know this one.
No, I mean, I remember ice cream sandwich. I remember that's already like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. There was jellyfish. There was
not jellyfish. There was jelly. What was it called? Jello. All right, I'm going to buzz you.
No, okay, I don't remember what the first one was called. I mean, Android 1.
It's actually a trick question. The first and the second were called nothing. It was just Android. On version 3, they started with the naming conventions.
That was called Honeycomb, because I remember Android.
No. It's the letter 3 is the C is the third letter of the alphabet. So it was Cupcake. Cupcake. And then from there, they went on donut, eclair, froyo, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream, jelly bean, Kit Kat, lollipop. But now here's an interesting one. This is a bonus question. Okay. Yeah. What was the last one called before they changed the convention, which apparently we're now 2 versions. We're on Android 11 at the moment. And before that was Android 10. They got rid of the food. Do you remember? I'll give you points back if you can remember the last one before it changed to Android 10.
Well, I think it was just pie. I was writing about how it wasn't exciting. It was just pie.
Oh, that's right. That was it, pie. So I gave you your bonus points there. Well done. Okay. Number 2.
You can see I'm not Googling here.
No Google. What % of the market does Android have?
80 or 90%, something crazy. Globally. In Australia it's 50-50.
Correct. 88%. iOS is only 11. But what is interesting? And
when Apple says they're not a monopoly, they mean it. Hello.
But here's the interesting thing, right? They only have 11% of the operating system, yet they're in the top 3 handset sales. So that just shows you how many phones are sold, because Android is across everything. You get across the Pixel, HTC, blah, 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 blah. So question 3, this one's for the feminists. They're going to love this one. Android is a male robot. Okay. Do you know what a female robot is called?
Yeah.
That's the question.
So
Do
what's
you know
the
what
question?
a female robot is
Oh,
called?
actually, you seem to have paused. I'll wait for you to
Oh,
come. Yeah, you're back
okay.
now. You're back.
Yep.
So,
So the
the
question
last thing I heard was Android is a male robot, and
Correct. So what is a female robot called?
I don't know. I've never. I mean, robots don't have a sex, generally speaking.
Well, we've also
I interviewed
humans don't have it anymore either. We non-binary, binaries, him, her, them. So the
So what
answer
is a female android called? I don't know.
It's a gynoid. Gynoid. So
Oh,
it's a gynoid.
definitely. So it's probably something to do with gynecology or something.
Could be. I would assume that's where it comes from. So
Yeah,
now, here's one I think you might get. Do
Sure.
you know who the creator of Android was or is?
Yes.
He's still alive.
Yeah. I mean, he was just recently sacked by, 2-3 years ago, he was sacked by Google for
That's right.
sexual things. I'm trying to think of his name. I mean, he founded Danger, which was sold over to Microsoft, and they tried to.
I'll give you a clue.
Yeah, I think his name starts with an A, but I can't remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the clue.
Well, I knew that because I'm remembering his name, but at the same time,
his surname is very similar to a sandwich.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I mean,
So is the sandwich.
he just wasn't as
wasn't important. He wasn't a Wozniak or Jobs, right?
As Steve Jobs.
There we go. Okay, so his name is Andy Rubin. So the Reuben sandwich was our trying to dip. Okay, and then do you know what Android was originally developed for? So it wasn't for smartphones. It
was the original Android device was a BlackBerry clone.
But what was it developed for? Which specific hardware?
Well, I mean, it was developed for originally it was this thing called a Sidekick, which was a T-Mobile device.
No,
and
I'm going to buzz you.
Yeah.
Digital cameras. It was to run digital cameras. And then the whole smartphone thing came around and they go, well, actually, let's go there. Do you know what the first phone to run Android was? Now, I actually still have one of these.
I got one downstairs too, HTC Dream.
Bingo. Got one downstairs too. Now, T-Mobile did that whole rebrand thing. It was actually called the G1, but for the rest of the world, we got the HTC Dream. That's right. I've still got mine in the box.
Got the little pearl wheel like on the BlackBerry Pearl.
Right. And I think it was like one meg of RAM or something stupid. We nearly finished. So who makes more sales? We're talking about software, right? Android, Microsoft Windows, iOS, or Mac OS?
Android.
Correct. But not only do they make more sales, they make more than all four combined. That's scary. So more than Windows, Mac, iOS, they actually make, well, not all four combined. They are the fourth. The last one, speaking of Windows, how much does Microsoft earn yearly in patent royalties from Android devices?
A few $100 million. I can't remember. Maybe billions. I remember seeing that stat some years ago, but I've totally forgotten.
$2 billion just from royalties. That's all wonderful Gates and the boys. Well, we really have gone out of time. So, but I'm so glad we got to play Does Alex Really Know? And Alex does know. There's like, that's what we're chatting about offline. It's like, I know so many other things, but I don't know the damn names. I know the name, I don't know what it does.
Every now you'd say Andy Rubin. Of course, it's Andy Rubin, I remember, but because
you had the A. You had the A.
So
that was pretty good. I tried to help you with the sandwich.
Yeah.
Alex, always good chatting to you, mate. And you never, ever disappoint with new wonderful toys and shows. So thank you. Thanks for making the time available.
Thanks for the invitation.
No, anytime. We'll have you back on again, that's for sure. Yeah. And that's going to take us to the end of the show. So until next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.